made it just in time for the exciting audiobook/podcast. What is the audiobook and what is the podcast? I'm going to tell you about the audiobook reading that you get here for free. And then in the podcast section, we break it apart as it relates to your own life struggles and mind battles that we deal with. And then we get some help for that. So the audiobook is the Mental Files First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann, that's me, that I created in my free time. And you're going to ride along with these frontline workers rescuing those in crisis. And you know what? It's a 6-part series, 6 short stories that highlight different mental health and spiritual and mind struggles that we face, that our loved ones face. And you're going to get some insight into that. But to make it cheaper and easier, I put it all in one book. It's also out on audiobook, on Audible and iTunes. The Mental Files First 6 Stories edition by Nurse Ann. And with your help and your love, one day it's going to be a television drama series. Think Touched by an Angel, think ER, think Law and Order. This is so full of action, adventure, advocacy, and awareness. And as I said, you're going to ride along with these frontline workers as they rescue those in crisis of mental, physical, and spiritual. And these shifts are 24/7. So you will have to buckle up for this compelling ride filled with danger, action, suspense, romance, faith, and inspiration. And today we're on book 2. And if you want to start from the beginning, which of course you do, you need to scroll down on my podcast. All of these are free. Go to book 1, which is Sheep Among Wolves. And that's the Mental Files Sheep Among Wolves. We're on book 2, Dr. John Doe. Book 3 is A Tent Under the Bridge. And then we have Defenders of the Week, the Mental Files Ready, Willing, and Able. And it culminates with the season finale of the Mental Files Out of Control. This is so fun and exciting. And I'm a nurse on the front lines of emergency and mental health and still going. So you're going to enjoy this ride along. So with that being said, we are going to jump into today's chapter and then we'll break it apart, get some inspiration. And today highlights dementia awareness, Alzheimer's, memory struggles, different mental health, spiritual, mental, physical battles that you might face, that a loved one might face. Get some encouragement and insight for that, and also just more about that. So we also get some encouragement, insight from the devotionals I created. And there's a link to all this at my website of nurseann.com. That's Ann with an E. And I hope that you will like this, subscribe, follow, leave your comment as we go. But we're going to get into that reading because I know that's what you came here for, not to hear me yammer on with a commercial. But anyway, so today is the Mental Files Dr. John Doe. I'm going to get into the chapter, but the intro of this story is, why is the elderly man running in traffic screaming he's a doctor? And you're going to follow the officer, the caseworker, the nurses, and the new ride-along from the street to the healthcare system. And will Leon and Lita take their relationship to the next level? Mental health struggles and thought strongholds rage in this ongoing drama. What role does God play in the outcome? As I said, these shifts are 24/7. Buckle up for this compelling ride. Action, danger, suspense, romance, faith, and inspiration. So let's jump into Here Comes the Train. We'll give it a minute, or I'll try to out-talk this train. But I'm not going to go back and explain everything that happened in book 1 and book 2 up to now. I'm just going to let you go back in the podcast so you can get caught up. So right now we're on chapter 8. It's titled Family Reunion. Are you ready? When the well-dressed family members of the John Doe patient were allowed onto the unit, they noticed their father sitting in a chair by himself with a vacant look on his face. They attempted to give him a hug, but even that gesture did not provoke any remembrance of his children. "Dad, we missed you," they offered. "We've been so worried. We didn't know where you went. What happened? Where did you go?" The attempts to gain insight were futile as the man they called Dad walked away from them and blankly stared at the television in the day room of the hospital. Nurse Angela noticed the family members appeared heartbroken. After offering tissues and cold water to drink, the nurse brought the family into the nurse's station to let them talk about their father. Shock and some clarity filled the air after the family reported to the staff. The most surprising fact that they learned was that this Mr. John Doe was actually a former practicing physician in a nearby town. That is, until the signs of dementia started. The family related that things seemed to go downhill even faster after his wife died a couple of years ago. So after meeting with the treatment team of their father, they agreed that after his treatment in the hospital that they would need to hire a home care sitter for the safety of their dad. The social worker informed them that she would prepare a list of options. So the staff was relieved to finally have an identity for their newest patient, because up until now he was just called Dr. John Doe. They had encountered him running in traffic, screaming that he was a doctor. Nobody believed him. They were thinking that he was just someone homeless or delusional, but turns out he was an actual doctor. So the staff was relieved to finally have an identity for their newest patient. But the relief was mixed with sadness to realize this former highly functioning doctor did not even remember his own name, let alone his family members now. So after attempting to hug their father again and leave some family photos on his nightstand, the children headed home. And that's the end of this chapter. The next chapter is going to be chapter 9, Recognize. And this is going to follow Mars, who is the newest ride-along paramedic that was formerly involved in a life of crime and danger, and he's worried about being recognized from his former life, and you'll just have to see that on the next podcast. But right now, as I promised, we're going to break it apart as it relates to our own life, memory struggles, thought battles of ourselves, our loved ones. And with that being said, I'll remind you one more time, it's the Mental Files First 6 Stories edition. I put it all in one book to make it almost free and easier for you. And it's also on this exciting audiobook. I had a narrator narrate that, and he also added siren noises, emergency noises, just a bunch of different things that bring this to life. And as I said, because it is coming also as a television drama with your love, support, and help. So before we jump into the podcast section to help with your mental battles and struggles and life struggles, follow this page, please. Leave your comment just to get this rolling, and I will definitely answer you as long as it's appropriate. Leave your comment, follow it, like it, share it, and let's get on to the podcast section of this. So we dealt with memory struggles, life battles, family members hurting, just struggles in our own life. And today is from my devotional. There's links on my website at nurseann.com. That's Ann with an E, your favorite nurse and new indie author. So today is from the Word Puzzles devotional. This was one of my first devotionals, and the word is neuroplasticity. What does that mean? Neuroplasticity. It's the ability of the brain to form and reorganize synaptic connections, especially in response to learning or experience or following an injury. And I wrote this, it's interesting words linked to everyday life and our inner thought struggles. And then along with some relevant help, some biblical prescriptions so you can get your dose of wisdom and inspiration. I want you and your loved ones to overcome and thrive. And this is hope and new light for your life journey, medicine for your soul. And this is Word Puzzles devotional. So we just learned about neuroplasticity, and as the brain forms and reorganizes synaptic connections, new pathways, new circuits. And so to me, and hopefully for you, especially with memory struggles and just mind battles, sometimes we feel like we're stuck in a box labeled by limitations or a diagnosis or just our own thought bullying us and getting down on us. But neuroplasticity, to me, this word conveys hope. We might be placed in a box of limitations, as I said, by a disease, a diagnosis, or labels. Sometimes others can impose this, or they can be self-imposed. And so one may lead to the other. Like if other people are getting down on us, or we're getting down on us, and it's just both people coming at us, we can just push ourselves down further. So rejection, ridicule, being shunned by our differences, and frustration over current limitations, thinking that we won't be able to push past a so-called defect. And so our brain does regenerate and make new pathways and new circuits. You know what? Higher learning and growth are possible. So no matter what, I want you to keep striving, keep trying, don't give up. And from the great neuroscientist, the Lord himself encourages us in Jeremiah 33:3. It says, we're advised to call to him, to ask, and he promises to show us and teach us great and mighty things we didn't previously know, things that were hidden, to help us solve our life puzzles, promote new learning and advancement. So keep on learning and growing, try new endeavors, break out of those boxes. So that's your first help for my Word Puzzles devotional, and we're going to move on to the next help. My other devotional is Inspiration Battles devotional, because you know what? Soul searching with a dose of encouragement does help us, and the battle to stay inspired can seem overwhelming at times. Yet God reminds us that our faith should not be in the power of people, but in his wisdom. So I want you to fear not as you embark on this journey of allowing the Lord to search your life. Let the Holy Spirit spotlight penetrate your heart, mind, will, emotions, your everything. And whatever might seem difficult for the moment will yield a reward of peace and purpose. So we're going to get into help for our related topic from Inspiration Battles devotional. And today is from Q, and it's questions. So sometimes when we think about the struggles we go through our loved ones, we ask, why did this happen? When will it end? How will we survive? And who is responsible? And sometimes, where can I flee and run away? And these questions can bombard our minds as we face the uncertainties and complexities of everyday life, as I said, for ourselves and our loved ones and those we take care of. So yet, unfortunately, sometimes these burdens might appear to be devoid of an acceptable answer. And although indeed our finite thoughts cannot fathom the depths of the reasons or solutions for our troubles, our Alpha and Omega does know that and knows and is the embodiment of the beginning and the end. So God promised that we cannot see our way to the other side, that he will not allow anything to separate us from his great love. Therefore, he can be trusted to be our vision when the path is treacherous and dimly lit. So until we reach our heavenly home, we might not comprehend the reasons for many things that occur in our lives in the world. But he does invite you to bring your ponderings and your pain to his throne of grace and mercy. Allow him to calm your fretting and wonderings of the why, who, what, whens, and hows. And so that's at my Inspiration Battles devotional. As I said, link on the website at nurseann.com. That's Ann with an E. Make sure you're following, subscribing, liking this. Leave your comment on your thoughts about this today. And we're going to jump into some more inspiration. This is my brand new devotional. I just started doing, trying spoken word, and I put it all in a devotional. And today I'm going to read my spoken word entitled Man on the Bridge. And this is, as I said, I'm a nurse on the front lines of emergency and mental health, and I see so many people struggling, and I just wanted to advocate and offer some hope and encouragement for some of the trauma and drama that I see. So it's a serious poem, but I'm going to read it. It's a mental healing poetry devotional by Nurse Ann, and in this book, life challenges are discussed along with God-ordained courage and healing to help us turn away from mindsets controlled by fear. So this is inspiration to step into our true destiny of a faith walk and purpose-driven path. So today, as I said, is Man on the Bridge. Man on the bridge. Why are you here? What happened in your life? What caused you to fear? Life's sorrows, struggles, and emotional pain. Some days bring sunshine, others are drenched with rain. It's hard to hang on when the pain lingers long. Please don't give up. Don't give up on your life. The Lord loves you so much, as well as your kids and your wife. So give it another chance. Let God show you his ways. Please give life another chance. Friend, I pray that you will see brighter days, as well as in your heart, to be able to sing, and perhaps in your soul also to dance. And so that's inspired by Psalm 34:18, and it tells us that God is near to them that are of a broken heart and saves those that are of a crushed and contrite spirit. And just an encouraging reminder in Isaiah 55 that we can go out with joy and be led forth with peace, and even the mountains and the hills can break forth before us into singing, and all the trees of the field will clap. So As I said, the trials and compulsions that threaten to consume our lives can sometimes lead us to feel hopelessness and despair. And no matter the battle you might be facing or your loved one, I want to remind you that there is an eternal anchor of hope and that God promised us He can calm every raging storm and even invite you to walk on the waters of faith to a place of victory. An invitation awaits for you to reach out for help in every situation. So the Lord might lead you to a trusted counselor, a family member, a friend. And God promised us when we are brokenhearted and crushed in spirit, He loves to save us and give us comfort. And He's just a prayer and a heartbeat away. And so, my friend, I hope that you will reach out for that salvation in life. And that's from my mental healing poetry devotional. Link at the website. And one more, and then we'll head out. My other devotional is Energized Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit. So this is in the section about our body. And I just talked about family, fun, and restful times, and how this is related today. It's just sometimes we're taking care of our family and we might forget to we can be so busy in our lives at work and remember to spend that time with our loved ones. So family, fun, and restful times. So a favorite and helpful book I enjoyed and learned from what is called Present Over Perfect, Leaving Behind Frantic for a Simpler, More Soulful Way of Life by Shauna Niequist. And in the book, she encourages us to slow down the frantic frenzy of our lives, bring back peace and times of refreshing with our loved ones. Sometimes that will mean saying no to certain opportunities in order to work on our highest opportunities, time with God and loved ones. So that's the end of today's podcast, but on the next section we will get into the next chapter and also continue to break it apart to help you with your mind battles, your limitations, your boxes for you and your loved ones. And I'll see you over at nurseann.com. That's Ann with an E. At the podcast tab, you can, as I said, scroll down to the bottom and you can start from the beginning from book 1, and now we're in book 2. And it's also on that exciting audiobook if you want to follow along and listen along. The audiobook is really so exciting. You feel like you're in the action and you feel like you're in that coming television drama series. So make sure you follow this, like it, leave a comment today. Let's get this algorithm going. And I want to inspire and encourage you. The purpose of this channel is inspirational wellness and to help you break out of those mind and life battles of mental, physical, and spiritual. And as I said, also my newest devotional is Mental Healing Poetry Devotional. See you on the next podcast.